You are thinking about a person you haven't spoken to in years. Suddenly, your phone vibrates. It is a text from that exact person. Or maybe you learn a strange new word in the morning, and then you hear it 3 more times before dinner. Most people call this a coincidence, but the famous psychologist Carl Jung had a different name for it. He called it synchronicity. Jung believed that these are not just random accidents. He described synchronicity as a meaningful coincidence where the internal world of our thoughts meets the external world of reality. It is as if the universe is perfectly aligned with your mind for a split second. But is there a hidden force at play, or is our brain just playing a very clever trick on us? To understand this, we have to look at some of the most mind-blowing examples in history. Take the story of the actor Anthony Hopkins. He was looking for a rare book called The Girl from Petrovka to prepare for a movie role. He searched every bookstore in London but could not find it. A few days later, while waiting for a train, he saw a book lying abandoned on a bench. He picked it up, and it was the exact copy he needed. But it gets weirder. Later, he met the author of the book, who told him that he had lost his own personal copy years ago. When Hopkins showed him the book he found on the bench, it turned out to be the author's lost copy, with his own handwritten notes inside. How does something like that happen? If we look at the math, the odds are trillions to 1. From a scientific perspective, statisticians call this the law of truly large numbers. This law states that in a world with 8 billion people, even the most unlikely events are actually guaranteed to happen eventually. We just notice them more because our brains are built to be pattern recognition machines. This brings us to a phenomenon called the Baader-Meinhof effect. This is why, when you buy a new red car, you suddenly see red cars everywhere on the road. The cars were always there, but your brain was filtering them out to save energy. Once that car becomes important to you, your brain unlocks that information and starts highlighting it every time it appears. But synchronicity feels deeper than just seeing a car. It feels like a sign. Some physicists suggest that everything in the universe is interconnected at a quantum level. They argue that space and time might not be as rigid as we think. In this view, a coincidence is just a moment where we catch a glimpse of the invisible web that connects all events. Another incredible example is the story of King Umberto I of Italy. One day, he went to a small restaurant for dinner. He noticed that the owner of the restaurant looked exactly like him. As they talked, they discovered they were both born on the same day in the same town. They both married women with the same name, and the restaurant was opened on the day of the king's coronation. A few days later, the restaurant owner was killed in a shooting accident. Later that same day, the king was also assassinated. Moments like these defy logic. They sit in the gray area between cold, hard math and spiritual mystery. Whether it is a glitch in the matrix or just the sheer scale of probability, synchronicity forces us to stop and wonder. It breaks the routine of our daily lives and suggests that there might be an underlying order to the chaos. Maybe you found this podcast today by total accident, or maybe you were looking for something to spark your curiosity. And here we are. Is it a coincidence, or is it synchronicity? The answer depends on how much mystery you are willing to accept in your life. Thanks for spending 5 minutes with us today. If you have ever experienced a coincidence that felt too perfect to be random, hit the subscribe button on the 5-Minute Fact and share this episode with someone who is currently on your mind. I am your host, and I will see you soon for your next 5-minute upgrade.